forgot I totally don't have a transition here, so I just like speed went into it. How frightening. I am still very, very tired after yesterday, so I don't know how much energy it's gonna sound like I have today, but my guess is probably not very much. And if it's not much, you know, that's pretty accurate, so whatever. I did forget something though, hold on. I don't think pinned links really matter that much for short streams anyway, but... Hold on. I searched Eclipse, curious if we have any Eclipse stuff. I forgot there's Fatal Frame, Mask of the Lunar Eclipse. Oh well, I'm just gonna pin my merch. Also, thank you for the super thank you, Mo. Boss, your solar eclipse live reporting on Discord was more exciting than watching like movie at a cinema. I was having a day. A lot of, you know, my travel luck is very weird. So I kind of thought, I was actually really tempted to do a Twitter space while I walked around, but I thought that might be a little too dangerous. So I thought instead we could talk about it when I'm back. Just give me a second. Also, I put some Nier music on because I thought it was fitting. Because I listened to Nier music during the eclipse. Also, John, thank you for 15 months! Eclipse was exciting. Yeah, I'm glad you thought it was exciting too. Here we go. Bam. Okay. Now that I think I have everything set up, I think we are good. I think we are finally good to get started. So, I thought we'd do a short 2-hour chatting stream to talk about it a bit before we finish Heavensward. I'm trying the new updated tracking thing that I used last time again. What do you guys think of this arm tracking? Is it better? It doesn't seem to have as many issues with the hands. It seems, maybe a lot better. It's not even my iPad. It's just a webcam. That's it. It takes a little longer to set up. BGM's loud. Hold on. Oh yeah, it changed. It got really loud, didn't it? I fixed it. I can't do certain things. Like I can't move my head and my hips and my shoulders in a cute way like I've done before. So I might not always use this one. Like for Nikkei streams, I might still use the old one. But for this one, I thought maybe it's nice probably for most streams. Using webcam, yeah! That's it right now. Like, it's really... I'm a big fan of stuff that's simple but looks good, because as soon as you start adding, like, complicated tracking and stuff, it gets really convoluted, and there's so much more room for things to go wrong that sometimes it's just not worth the effort to me, you know? So I'm a big fan of keeping it simple whenever possible. And don't worry, my eyes are okay. My eyes are very okay. I'm gonna admit, my eyes did hurt before and after the eclipse. But that's because I forgot my eye drops. I have really, really sensitive eyes. I actually have a pair of glasses that I use when I go outside and stuff. And they're tinted so that they can block a bunch of the sun. Because my eyes are like fucked. They get dry and pain so easily. And I'm really photosensitive to light. But I also got eclipse glasses, so don't worry about me. I did stare directly at the sun without my glasses though. But only during totality. When it was safe. Because, fun fact, for those of you who weren't in the path of totality, you actually can't look at the sun during totality with glasses on. You can't. It doesn't work. You can't see it. You can't see anything. It disappears. It's too weak. You can't see it. So you have to look at it without them during totality. I thought that was scary at first, and I didn't want to get scammed when I read that people were doing that. I was like, is that real? So I looked it up on NASA's website, because if there's anyone I trust, it's NASA. So I was like, they won't lie to me, surely. They'll be in trouble if they do. I don't know if they could be hiding aliens or whatever, but they're at least not going to lie to me in a way that'll get my eyes messed up. But yeah, I've been really, really, really yuck. Like, NASA's April Fool's joke, oh god, imagine. That's not the funny type of joke, that's only suffering. Yeah, they had streetlights on too where I was. Yeah, eclipses, it really are bright in general. Oh my god, wait, can I tell you guys something really stupid? So even if I hadn't traveled, I would have gotten at least part of the partial eclipse because it was massive. The partial eclipse is fucking massive. And back home, I got a message from Warehouse Mom. Do you know what she did? She looked at the eclipse without glasses, but it wasn't total. She looked at the partial eclipse without glasses. By accident! That's the worst part. By accident. I don't know why she messaged me. She's like, Pam, I looked at the sun! I looked at the sun! Like, Mom! So she was taking, apparently after a dog walk, because, you know, I had to leave town for the day. I couldn't look after the dog. After a dog walk, she was putting some poop in the garbage. And then saw something out of the corner of her eye. Well, I guess there's like a tree branch or something that moved in front of the sun. So she turns around to see what the movement is, and she's staring directly into the fucking sun. And she just messages me panicking. She's like, oh my god, I have floaters. What do I do? And I'm like, you always have floaters. Because she has always had floaters. I'm like, are they different floaters? And she's like, no. I'm like, okay, so you're saying your eyes are exactly the same and you only looked for like a second. She's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. Just keep an eye on it. You can't change what's done by accident. I think, what are floaters? I get them occasionally too. It's kind of like you see this little blurry patch moving around in front of your eye, but it doesn't really stay still, like it moves. Kind of like a piece of dust that landed on your eye or something. But yeah. It was a weird message to receive. And she is the one that kept checking in on me every 5 minutes, being like, did you get your glasses yet? Don't hurt your eyes, You have sensitive eyes, did you get your glasses? Are you okay? And I'm like, please calm down. I travel by myself all the time, and usually I don't even get a message, but I guess she was so scared of the sun that it's just constant. And then she's the one that fucking looks at it. Hello, Julian, Nibby, and Karanova. It's just being liquid being weird in your eyes. Yeah, everyone has them. She just gets them worse than most people. Also, hello, real fan. She's not a hypocrite. She just is, like, she did not mean to look at this. It's different than being a hypocrite. It was literally an accident. She freaked the fuck out. Yeah. You looked at it for a split second because you like to live dangerously. Please don't do that if you ever have another eclipse newbie. Please don't do that. It's not worth it. It's seriously not worth it. You literally can have permanent vision loss. But I think if it's like very, very briefly, 9 times out of 10 you're probably okay, but it's not worth the chance with how bright the sun is during an eclipse. The other thing is, if you're curious about it, even if you look a safe amount of time, because you don't feel pain, you're going to be tempted to look longer and it's going to cause damage. There are people every eclipse that get a lot of damage, like permanent sometimes. Yeah, even briefly can mess it up. It ain't worth it, bro. Hello, Omnidragon. It's just not worth it. Even with the glasses, there's so many glasses scams going around. So that's all I'm Mouse and John. If you guys ever have another eclipse in your area, make sure to get legit glasses and test them in advance. I had a very elaborate plan to make sure I got safe glasses, and it worked out really well. My plan was absolutely wild. I'm gonna talk a bit about my day during the stream while I have my fake VR chat eclipse going on. Also, do not reuse glasses. No, some of them don't degrade. The ones I have are from a trusted location, and it says on them that they have a lifetime warranty. They're not cheap ones, though. They're given away for free, but these ones are apparently quite safe. However, if you want to use them during another eclipse, test them first and make sure they're still okay. If there's any like scratches or cracks, or if you know any lights coming through where it shouldn't, don't trust them. Don't trust them. Awesome Mouse, thank you for 33 months. Boss me like since there, yeah. Search results for why do my eyes hurt went up afterwards. No, actually, even with the glasses, your eyes can hurt. There's a difference between hurt and damage. I had a bit of eye pain afterwards, just from it going so dark and so bright. It was kind of weird. As I said, I also had eye pain beforehand, but my eye pain was much more akin to my headaches. Not any issue with my eyes, and I'm perfectly fine now. I'm just really sensitive to headaches, so there's probably a lot of other people like me that get headaches but tend to feel the headaches in their eyes. If you actually got damaged, you'd probably know. Also, hello, Kitty. You're supposed to have glasses for an eclipse. Not during totality, but for the rest of it, yes. Big yes. Hello, Jay, Smile, and Joey. It's called a migraine. I know. I get them many times a month. I have chronic migraines, and I know what a migraine is. They're horrible. Hello, obviously. But yeah. I'm curious if any of you think you know where I went. I wanted to travel. I'd been eyeing so many locations, like Texas and Toronto and New York. I was looking at so many of the places, and every time I was looking at a place that I could consider going for the eclipse, the weather looked so bad I didn't think I could chance it. Hello, Elliot. So in the end, literally at like after midnight, the night before, I finally booked a flight. I didn't book anything else. I had no accommodation, I had no food, I had no taxis, nothing. I just booked a flight and I was like, it's fine, I'll get back on the same day if traffic cooperates. And luckily, my gamble paid off and everything was fine, because if even anything went wrong, I would have been so fucked. But I wanted to see an eclipse since I was like a little kid. When I first learned about a total eclipse, I thought it sounded so cool, like the world ending or something. And I really wanted to experience one, so it might have been my only chance. So I was like, you know, fuck it. And I had some flight credits because I thought I was gonna have to continue traveling a lot, but that didn't quite pan out in the way I thought. So I had some that expired soon, and I figured, you know, there was a flight still available after midnight, and because it was still available, it kind of felt like it was meant to be. So I just booked a round trip and ran with it. Was it expensive? I think I only spent $25 all day. Legit. Because my flight was a free flight that I had that was gonna expire, and I bought a coffee, and I bought a matcha latte, and I bought Subway. Oh wait, I also bought a train pass, so maybe it would have been more like 30, or not train pass. I guess it could have been used on the train, but I didn't use the train. So I actually barely spent anything. I did walk 10,000 steps though. It was like the cheapest trip in my entire life. I brought like a whole backpack of snacks, and I brought 4 water bottles to fill up when I got there so I wouldn't have to buy drinks, but then I did anyway. I literally, like, I was so cheap. Quill and Atla and Obake and Dikuli. I went for economy, yeah. I did get upgraded on my flight though, so I didn't fly economy. Well, I did, but it's like the expensive part of economy, like at the very front. I have really good luck because I'm like an infrequent flyer program for a couple airlines because of how much I had to travel last year. I tend to be prioritized for upgrades. It also kind of felt like I had a private jet on the way up because for some reason no one booked that fucking flight. There was like maybe 5 people on the plane. And I was like, oh my god, it feels like it's just for me. Even though it wasn't. It is kind of cool. Hello, Sunny. But yeah. It was pretty cool. I do remember, I saw the one in 2017. I had glasses for it though, because it was only partial for where I was at the time. But I did get to see it. Anyway, where do you guys think I might have gone to see it? I'm curious if anyone figured it out, because I was very stupid when I was giving you guys a play-by-play of the timing. I didn't realize, even though I should have, that the eclipse was going to be at different times in different cities. And then once I started realizing that, that's why I stopped responding a bit, because I was like, oh shit, people might figure out what I am. So I suddenly, pun unintended, went a bit dark because I didn't want people to try to narrow me down while I was there. Hello, Mike Sandra. Yeah, Northern Hemisphere, how'd you know? How'd you know? I didn't go to the top of a building though. I was in a very quiet area actually, Brad. Oh, hello, Brittany. We have multiple guesses on Arkansas. How confident? How confident are you guys that I went to Arkansas? I showed you guys screenshots of my weather. You know a rough estimate of what time I saw it? I kind of want to make a poll. See if you guys, how confident, we'll find out. You speculated it might have been why I went quiet? Yeah! I didn't realize until you... It's actually when you saw it before me, Brandon, that I realized. I was like, oh shit. So thank you for also watching it so that I could know. Also, I love Martin Memorial. Did I... I'll see how confident you guys are. I made a poll. Hello, CR! So far, everyone's voting no. I don't know. I don't know. Well, I know. You guys just may or may not know. We'll find out. Taking a wild guess based on the little you saw. It looks like right now, chat's consensus, the majority, is saying it was probably not Arkansas. We have a couple guesses for New York. Okay. Chat has decided. Are you correct? You are correct! I did not go to Arkansas. I saw a few guesses for New York. Did I go to New York? Yes or no? I saw the eclipse from the sun itself. Yeah, I saw it from the other side. The earth was, blocking the moon, actually. Oh, wow. I think it looks like you guys are mostly saying yes this time. So everyone thinks I went to New York. But wasn't New York cloudy? Wasn't New York cloudy? Hello, Tristan. Did you guys see my pictures of my perfectly sunny sky? Unfortunately, this time, chat has lost. You guys think it's New York. It was not, although that is one of the places I was eyeing. But unfortunately, I decided that the chance of clouds there was too dangerous. And most places I was going to go, the chance of clouds was just too high. And as I was researching, I found a place that was guaranteed sun. And that's why I booked last minute. There's guaranteed sun. I saw a few guesses for Indiana. Let's see. Did I go to Indiana? Was it Indiana? California or Florida, didn't either of them have the eclipse? Or am I wrong? Looks like no is winning this time. It's very close to a tie, actually. It's a very close vote. That's difficult. Look at in Arizona. Did I go to Italy? Nah. Hello, Gato and Sarmiento. Lots of possible locations. Not really, actually, because almost everywhere was cloudy. There weren't many places that it wasn't cloudy. Okay, now you guys are throwing out lots and lots and lots and lots of different names. I'm seeing guests for Arizona, Idaho, Wyoming, Massachusetts, Hawaii. Did they even have the eclipse? They're like way off in the distance. If Mexico had it, I don't think Hawaii would have had it. Las Vegas? Cleveland, Ohio? I'll give you guys one hint. Not a single person has texted me. Maybe I didn't have to worry on the day as much as I thought. Hello, Aunt Kelly. Okay. I'm getting... There's 50 possibilities, but there's not even! Almost nowhere had sun! It was perfectly sunny! There's very few places that had sun. I'm gonna give you guys a hint right now that's gonna blow your mind because everyone's guesses are so far off base. It wasn't in the US. You guys are all guessing the wrong country here. So no. Hello, Robin Kaido, and Sansochrome, and I'm Decent. So you guys just like all completely fucked up. So it was either Canada or Mexico, basically. You saw the coolest picture of it in Toronto? I actually planned on going there for it, but then the weather looked too bad. From what I saw, my original place I wanted to go to see it was Niagara Falls, because I'd never been there and it always looks pretty in photos. But then I was like, that it's supposed to be cloudy. I don't trust so I'm glad I never booked that. Although apparently it cleared up in time and everyone was actually okay, so I guess it would have worked out. Hello, Gabriel and Sugnon and James Ramirez. You're not gonna triangulate my location based on weather patterns. How do I know you're not 4chan? I don't know who's watching right now. I don't know if anyone might have those skills and use them for evil. Listen. We finally have someone who has guessed it right though. Joey has guessed it. I went to Quebec. I was like, this should be fine in theory. I speak French. Maybe I'll be okay. Going by myself. So yeah, that's another problem I didn't want to talk about at the time. And why I probably fucked up my coffee. I language barrier. And why I couldn't make friends in the lineup when I really had to pee. The person in front of me and the person in back of me were chatting and having a friendly elles parlent la français et je ne parle pas bien français. Donc je n'ai pas parlé. J'ai écouté la musique et juste resté sourd. J'étais trop peur à parler. Oh god, that was so painful for anyone who speaks French. I'm sorry. The person in back of me and the person in front of me were chatting a lot while I just awkwardly looked at the ground playing Mickey. Because they were chatting in very quick French, and a few times they looked at me, so I just had headphones on, and I was like, I hope they're not addressing me. Because I don't want to be dragged into this conversation. Luckily, I went to Montreal, so it is a very bilingual city. Almost everything was in English and French, but it's mainly talking to like people where that's not always as easy because not everyone will speak it. But in terms of like signs and stuff, you're fine. But did they look at my screen? Oh God, I hope not. God, I hope not. But yeah, I didn't know if they also spoke English, and I did actually travel to Montreal once before. I went on a really, really long road trip with friends a number of years ago. I think it was like my first time going on a long trip without my parents, and we went there. And I it's part of the reason why I'm bad at speaking French. I had a lot of bad experiences with people getting mad at me when I tried to speak French. They'd like get very insulted that my French was bad. and now I don't have a lot of confidence ever trying to use it because I'm just like, so now I just don't like to use it. But it's like people are equally offended if you try to talk to them in English instead of French sometimes, so I just die inside and don't speak. Of course not everyone though. Most people are probably very nice no matter what you try. I don't do well when people aren't nice, so it's easier to not talk. You saw ran someone in LA and they got excited when you spoke a bit of French. See, I love that! That makes me happy when people are more wholesome like that. I'd have more confidence if everyone was like that. I would want to try more if people were nice about it. Also, let's say Brooks and Colby. Canadians are always nice except the geese. No! Did you not just hear me say it was in Montreal where I had a bad experience? Multiple bad experiences on one trip with people getting mad at my French? That was in Canada, bro. So, nah, unfortunately not, but, Hello, Espresso. But yeah, so I went very last minute. I was looking at the weather, and I was trying to figure out anywhere sunny. And then I just happened to notice, I was like, wait. I haven't looked into the weather in Montreal. So I look into the weather in Montreal and it said perfect sun. So I was like, hey, yo! I looked it up and there was an airport bus that about half the reviews said had dedicated bus lane. So in theory, I could maybe beat the traffic. Just a last minute, the morning of the eclipse, got there and left on the same day and somehow didn't miss my flight and got back and it was okay. It was interesting. I did have an unfortunate incident right when I got there though. When I got to the airport to leave in the first place, I was going through the airport security. Hello, Kamana. And when I was going through airport security, I noticed that the guy working security was one of my old high school classmates. And I was like, please don't notice me. I don't want anyone to be like, what have you been up to lately? What are you doing for work? It's like, oh, I'm an anime girl on the internet. I can't just say that. So I just try to get through security as fast as I fucking can. And I messed up a few things because of it. 'Cause I was like trying to get the fuck out of there. It wasn't even anyone I was friends with, so they might have recognized me and just not cared, which I don't care. I just don't want them to talk to me. The only thing they said was like, any liquids or gels, any computers? I'm like, no. I just shake my head no, because I don't want them to hear my voice. That's true. I could say I work for a shipping company, technically. It was awkward. And then I rush through and I finally get into it. And of course, I'm selected for the full body scan for whatever reason. So then I go inside the machine and it goes off. And they notice my ear. They're like, do you have a hearing aid? And I'm like... And then I realize I left my earbud in. So then I have to run back to security. And I have to pull out an entire bin for just my earbud. And hope that once again the dude working security doesn't recognize me while I put in a singular earbud. And I run away. It was so painful. And then I finally make it to the other side. And of course my bag was flagged as like bad shit. And like, do you have any sharp objects? And at this point I don't trust myself. So I'm just like, I don't think so. There shouldn't be any, but I don't know. So the lady there at the side has to go through my entire bag and look at everything. My wallet breaks in her hand. The zipper just fucking breaks and all my money falls out. And I'm just like, don't even worry about it. You know, just toss it in the backpack. It's fine. And then, oh my god. I pick out my stuff finally, and I remember my single earbud, and I'm like ready to get the fuck out. And then, I almost make it out of the room, and someone comes screaming and chasing after me and cuts me off. It was the lady, because I forgot my ID and my passport. I tried leaving without the two things that I needed to get on the plane. I don't know if they also fell out when my wallet broke, but apparently I just left them at security. So then they just have my wallet and my ID. And then they give them to me, and because so much time has been wasted by me messing up, I didn't have time to get breakfast, so I just have to go on the plane. Luckily, they gave me a free shortbread cookie, and it was really, really good. So that was tasty. That was nice. It wasn't too sweet. It was nice and rich, so my stomach didn't feel like it was going to die. But then, so I did have. Remember when I said that I did get upgraded? On the way back? No, sorry, on the way there it's upgraded. But you know what happened on the way back? Also, on the way back, just to skip ahead and then come back, the way back was pretty empty as well. There was a couple rows that were completely empty, but I was sitting in the emergency exit with like some random dude next to me. And even though half the plane was free, I get very nauseous if I don't have a window seat. So I wanted to get up and move to another row. But my anxiety would not let me move for some reason. I was like, oh my god, they'll know I'm in the wrong seat. I didn't pay for this seat. I was like so scared they would be mad at me that I just ended up staying in the emergency exit with this random guy the whole time, even though both of us would have probably rathered me move literally anywhere else. And I was so embarrassed. And then I just got back home and I was like, why am I like this? Why am I like this? I don't even know why I'm like this. But when I finally get off the plane, at least, when I get to Montreal, I go to a Starbucks. I don't know if this is like a Montreal thing or if they messed it up, but usually if I get a matcha at a Starbucks, it's like really, really sweet. It tastes like I'm drinking candy. Like, it's fucking awful. But for some reason, this one wasn't. It was actually kind of bitter. It's like they didn't sweeten it. It was enough, bitterness and stuff that I could taste the matcha. And it was like really rich, but it didn't taste like they put a lot of sugar in it. So I actually loved it. I had a really nice matcha, one of the best I've had in a long time because it wasn't overly sweet. And I chugged it. Then I went to the water fountain, filled up like 4 water bottles, and I chugged, I think, 2 of them because I knew I'd have a long bus ride and some walking, and I didn't want to be dehydrated. Look at the camera. I can see just fine. So I got a bunch of water to take with me because I didn't want to spend money on more drinks. And then I finally start to feel alive again because I actually woke up at the time I usually go to bed. So I felt really fucking dead until the matcha kicked in, like just enough to not make me too tipsy, but enough that I was not dying. And then I get outside. I just had like a backpack. I didn't really need to bring anything with me. So I go and stand by the bus stop because I find there's an express bus that goes to downtown. And apparently it runs every 10 minutes. And to use it, you just buy a day pass and you can use it on any transit. So I go on there. And I stand and I stand and I stand outside of the bus and I wait like 10 minutes and then it finally drives away without picking me up and I start crying. Cause like they would never open the door and I start crying and some random person has to come up to me and explain that's where the bus waits until it's ready. That's not actually the bus stop. So I turn around, it's just like 20 feet away. It just moved to the actual bus stop and I was like, oh shit. So luckily I didn't actually miss the bus. I got on the bus. And I technically didn't even have to pay for the bus because the payment machine was broken, so they said it was free today. I'd already paid for it though. So I went on the bus, and it's good because on the way back I would have needed it anyway. So, but yeah, I get on the bus, and then I finally go sit in the back and I relax because I know what my stop is gonna be, and I know there's at least 40 minutes, even if there's no traffic. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna relax. I'm gonna close my eyes. And have like not a nap, if you know what I mean, but just like rest my eyes, rest my brain. So that's what I do. I'm jamming to near music, and then I notice I'm listening to Shadow Lord because I'm going through my songs trying to think what do I want to listen to during the eclipse. And I was like, my headphones feel kind of weird, so I take them out of my ears. But I notice with them out of my ears, I can still hear Shadow Lord just as loud. Despite the fact that I shouldn't be able to hear it at all. And it was my first time traveling with Bluetooth headphones. They weren't connected. I said Bluetooth connected, but I don't know what they connected to because apparently it wasn't my phone. So yeah, I was apparently sitting there blasting Shadow Lord on the bus. Hello, sis, Tara, and that was really awkward because I wanted to block as much of the sun as possible, so I was pretty much wearing like all black and red, wearing tons of layers, so that if the weather got really cold, I'd be okay. And I had like this giant backpack. I was looking very obviously exhausted and disheveled. and then just that they probably looked at me listening to like some sort of, to them, what sounds like funeral music or something, and I'm just sitting here like That was so awkward. Oh, there be the data. That's the thing though, I should have just embraced my boss status and just left it. It would have been better. I think just like hiding it, like turning off my phone, panic, looking around, whatever. I think that was probably worse. Then people were just like, oh, this weirdo. Whereas if I would have embraced it, they would have been annoyed, but at least my image wouldn't have been ruined. I haven't traveled in so long. There must have been so much stuff just like waiting to let itself out the next time I traveled, man. That's the thing though, Ice Fox. There was no awkward looks. No one even looked at me. Which almost scared me more. I don't know. It almost felt weirder. Anyway, I'll show you some pictures of some of this stuff as well after. So I didn't really look on Google Maps. I just looked at the stop I need and where I needed to go. So here's the reason I decided Montreal. The main reason was the sun. But also, I didn't have eclipse glasses, and I didn't want to travel somewhere. Like, I had been eyeing Maine as well, but I was like, I don't know if there's going to be anywhere I can get glasses that's, like, within a transit route or anything. So I looked at the map, and I was like, where are giving out free glasses? And I wanted glasses I knew I could trust, right? So I found out that Montreal had a science center handing out free glasses. And a science center felt very legit to me because I feel like a science center is the type of place that would go all out to make sure anything science related is a safe experience, because if it wasn't, they would be so fucked. So I found that and I was like, okay, it's like 40 minutes from the airport. I can go in, get some glasses, and then if traffic seems bad, I can go right back to the airport and watch near the airport. But I'll at least see totality. So I walked downtown, and the bus stop that it let me off at was actually near Chinatown. And there's a lot of like really, really cool buildings. And honestly, that's where I was walking around when I went a number of years ago with some friends. So I was like, oh my god, the one single area of town that I actually have been to before. Of course, I don't remember any of it, so I get fucking lost. It ended up being an area that I knew-ish. So I was like, okay, I don't feel as concerned now. This is a good sign. But then I hit a bunch of detours because apparently the whole city is like under construction. I don't know what they're building. I don't know if it's like a pipeline or a rail line, but there's this one area that was under so much construction. It was blocking off so many streets. And I couldn't do anything but walk around it. Eventually I found my way through. It was kind of weird though. And I finally, oh Shadow Lord. For those of you who don't know and saw my screaming, this is what I was listening to the moment the eclipse happened. I'd been debating, the bus team. It makes me cry. The song is so emotional, so I thought it would be a really good fit for like a surreal once in a lifetime sun being blocked experience, you know? I probably should have listened to nature because I would have heard more unique sounds of like the animals and stuff, but I'm very much a music driven person and I wanted to like experience something while having a song kind of like this. And it was nice. Hello, Cross Nexus! I'll talk more about it later, but I just wanted to briefly pivot to that because the song came on and it was really cool. Yeah! The song feels like a climax. It's just, I don't know anything about it because I still haven't played Nier, but to me this song is just like, it feels like, how do I word it? The song kind of feels like everything and nothing at the same time. It's almost like the song is a reminder of everything you once had while telling you you've lost everything simultaneously. That's kind of like the kind of vibe it is, like you never matter. Nothing actually matters. The universe goes on without and all this kind of like simultaneous freeing and like terrifying feelings at the same time. Does that make any sense? It's just a very deep, profound song that makes me feel many things and simultaneously nothing. And I was like, that feels like the type of thing that I want to listen to while watching the total eclipse. So that's why I chose it. And it was really, really, really cool. I don't regret choosing it. It was pretty cool. The only thing I regret is that I was near the very edge of totality. So while I got to see it completely blocked and it was cool, I don't know if there might have been some places where the horizon line wasn't quite as close. It was extremely close for me. Like I could see maybe like a third of the sky was still bright. But that's okay. There was also a lot of buildings that had a lot of sun. It was still really cool and I don't regret it and I'm glad I got to go. Also, let's RPF for Yosi and Outsider. Yeah, it was like between a reality vibe. Yeah! And I really thought that would be nice. And yeah, when I finally get down to get the glasses, because I want to be able to look at the partial eclipse without burning my fucking eyes out. Also, actually, thank you for 1 month of intern. I go and I find the science center, but I notice there's a lineup, and the lineup goes like a long distance. A really long distance that cannot be put into words. Well, it turned out that lineup wasn't actually for the glasses. It was for Tim Hortons truck. I'd seen the memes of Tim Hortons in Canada, but really, people are gonna skip lining up for glasses and line up like multiple blocks for a fucking coffee truck. I was like, is this real? But it must have been, because no one was leaving that line, so I just keep walking past it, and then I find the glasses line. I'm a couple hundred people into the line. Which actually was really good because then the line, well, I'll show you pictures of the line. I ended up getting my glasses and out of the line in less than 5 minutes. But we'll talk about the wait. Oh my god, we'll talk about the wait. Oh my god. Anyway, let me go through my pictures. Hold on. See if there's anything safe to share yet. Yeah. This one should be okay. I'm just like scanning my photos first to make sure there's nothing danger in them. Okay. Let me pull one up. So this is where I was waiting in line. I had a pretty nice view. I wasn't here the whole time though. The line moved a lot because people kept coming and going, but this is where I was at the start of the line. Hold on, I'm trying to get it up. Hold on, sorry, it's taking a minute. Okay, this is where I was waiting at first. Oh my god, it's so big. Hold on, this is too big. So I kind of got to wait right by, I think it was a river. So that was a pretty nice place to wait. There was a nice breeze because of it, because it was so clear and sunny that I actually started getting like heat exhaustion and a sun headache. That was a little bit painful. But then I had a hoodie with me and I was a lot warmer with the hoodie on, so I was a little too hot, but it blocked my head from getting hit by the sun, so that really helped, and then it was okay. But yeah, that's... Let me see if I can find the other view. Okay, so this is the lineup when I got here, right? Okay, this is why I have to show this. So this is what it was originally like. You know, it's just pretty normal looking. There's no one on the street. It's just, it looks like a park. It's kind of empty. I got there 2 hours before glasses were handed out, about 4 or 5 hours before the eclipse. It's pretty empty. You know, it's pretty chill. So this is the lineup. Not that much longer. This was the lineup. This was the lineup. Look at the street. Look at the street outside of the fence. That was a lineup. The lineup literally went to the end of the park and then fucking left the park and went down the block. It was massive. The park itself was pretty empty other than people who already had glasses, because this was still like 4 hours before the eclipse, right? So people don't really care. They're just in line to try to get the glasses. So it's not really a big deal. Yet. Do you want to see what the line and what the park looked like by the time I got my glasses? So by the time I finally got my glasses, the park had turned into this. Oh boy. Oh boy. You see that line still going down the street outside the park? Like, look, that's why I couldn't get out of the line to pee, guys. There would have been no fucking hope if I could get out of the line to pee. Look at the street. Look at the street. They're still lined up on the street for glasses. So I was not kidding when I said I cannot lose the battle. I'm the first few hundred in line. I can't leave now. I can't. I have to stay. I must tough it out. I have to do this. It was very, very crowded. I think Golden Week in Tokyo is like the only comparison I even have for that. So then, anyway, I finally get... Wait, no. I have to say about my weight. Okay. So, first of all, I start doing my Nikkei dailies as lots of kids run by, and I just try my best to hide my phone because I don't know what else to do. I need to do my daily. And we already have the awkward language barrier, so I couldn't talk to anyone in line and get them to hold my spot because I needed to wait for myself. I didn't speak the language well enough, and I needed to get my glasses, so I had to wait. And I toughen out. But remember, I chugged an entire matcha latte, and I can't remember if it was 1 or 2 bottles of water. And I've at this point, I've been in line for an hour. I still have an hour to go. But I need to pee really bad. Like, to the point that I'm sitting on the ground because I can't stand up. I need to pee so bad. And I'm just sitting there like dying, screaming on Discord because I need to pee, but I can't. I didn't travel all this distance and wait in line an hour just to lose my spot and not get any glasses. So I stay in the line, and I'm like ready to cry. Oh, and I want to die. I want to die so hard. But I am determined. I am determined. Well, you want to know what happened about half an hour before? This is very TMI. The matcha went through me very quickly, and I no longer needed to just pee. But I still had half an hour in line, and I was like, I didn't want to say anything at the time because it was too embarrassing, so I just said I really needed to pee. I really needed to both, man. And I had 30 minutes left, and I was like, I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. All these streams have trained me to wait for good break moments. I can do it. Yeah, I was, my determination was being tested or something. I don't know. So I stay in the line. I stay in the line. And I think if I would have had to wait even like 1 more minute, I would not have been okay. But luckily, I was okay. I made it. I was really tempted at one point to get out of the line though, but for a horrible reason. Oh my god. There's actually a group of evil little shits. I don't know their motivation or why they were doing it. I'm assuming they're evil little shits. I don't know. Maybe they're doing what they have to. I don't know. But there were a bunch of people, a group of 4 or something. They had a box of glasses. They were going up and down the line, offering people, skip the line, buy your glasses here, buy your eclipse glasses here. But the problem is that line was for free glasses. That line was for free glasses, donated by the Science Center. The city gave out 150,000 free glasses. Like, you didn't really have to buy them unless you wanted to have some early. And to me, having somebody go down a line for free glasses, charging $10 a pair, when you don't know, based on how many fake glasses are out there and how many people are getting hurt, you don't know if those glasses are real. They were letting people try them on and test them, but at the same time, I didn't trust it. I also thought it might be illegal. I wasn't sure though. I was tempted to step out of line and report them, but 1, the language barrier, and 2, I didn't feel it was my place. And there were people falling for it and buying them. And I really hope that people were okay. I hope that it was just scalpers taking advantage for some money. I hope it wasn't people who were taking advantage of people's safety for some money. But, they looked guilty, too. Like, they looked like, one of them anyway, he looked like he felt bad for even asking people. But it's like, I don't know what to say. You could just not. And I didn't trust it. I was like, okay, even me, with how badly I have to pee, I am not buying these. I specifically planned my day so that I would go to the Science Center and get glasses that I knew were safe. I'm not trusting a rando scalper illegally selling at the side of the lineup. Like, no way. And then the line started moving much more quickly because a lot of people ahead of me, despite being near the front of the line, were buying them. But I did not. And they did end up only giving 1 pair of glasses to every family, but luckily I went by myself, so I was able to get some. There were so many angry parents screaming back, being like, my kids all want to see it. And they're like, you guys are going to have to share, I'm afraid. I guess they didn't understand that, you know, there's not enough glasses for everybody, and they're trying to make it fair. Every group of people that went together could get 1. And I think that was very fair at the end. Also, Carl, I very much respect that, because otherwise there's going to be a lot more people left out. But I did manage to get them in the end. And then I go inside, because I'm like, oh my god, finally, bathroom. So I go inside the science center. I don't even care if they charge me admission. I'm so desperate, like, I will do anything. So I go inside the science center, and I find a huge line in the science center that wraps around, probably looks like about a 20-minute wait or so. I don't think it actually was, but it looks like one from the size of it. There ended up being a lot more stalls than it looked like at the end of the line. So yeah, I find that, and I have to wait there for I don't know how long. Someone starts screaming in the lineup, does anyone speak English? And I try to be helpful and raise my hand, and I'm like, me. And I'm like, okay, and they start angry speaking in French to try to give me instructions. And I'm like, oh, I don't speak French though, because I'm not confident enough. And then they start swearing at me and they run away. But they were in front of me in the line, so if they ran away, I mean, joke's on them, I got to pee faster. It scared me. And that's true, yeah, you don't need glasses during the eclipse. That's why at least if I only had no glasses, at least I was in totality, so it would have been fine. Holiday also. But yeah. It was weird. And eventually I finally get in the washroom. Luckily I made it. I don't know how I made it, but I made it and I was okay. Yeah, that sounds like Quebec. Honestly, from the little I was there, I had a surprising amount of encounters with very angry people. Even one of the bus drivers screamed at me when I got on the bus. They pointed at my bag and started screaming. I don't know what words they were using. It didn't sound like anything I've ever heard. I don't know if it was like either formal language or angry language, but it wasn't. Maybe it was very casual, like slang. I don't know. I understood like tu dois and like something like that, but I didn't understand the angry part. I was like, I just nodded, and then I walked into the bus. I don't know what they were mad at me about. I understand people when they're calm if it's not my first language, but if they get mad, then I lose my ability to understand because I'm just too busy panicking. Anyway, luckily I don't have a lot of angry people. A surprising amount, but most were not. I also didn't talk to anybody. I spoke maybe like 2 sentences the whole day. I spoke when I was ordering coffee. Oh yeah, I also spoke when I said I don't speak French to the phone guy. So that's 3 people I spoke to. Ordering coffee, ordering Subway, and saying I don't speak French. But anyway, when I finally get to the bathroom, there's a sign. I want to show you guys the sign. So there's a sign. I guess they're trying to tackle people who feel embarrassed when they need to pee. So this this sign just says "Tout le monde fait pipi," or everyone pees. And I'm just like, gee, thanks, sign, for fixing my shy bladder syndrome. Now that I know everyone pees, I can pee in public washrooms with merciless abandon. It made me laugh so hard that I had to take a picture just to show you guys the cursed sign. I don't actually know what the game is though. Oh, Angel. And see, I wrote down notes on my phone all day so I could remember the shit that happened to talk about. Because I have so many cursed things happen that it just, if I don't write them, if I write them down, I can at least get content. If I don't write them down, I suffer for nothing. Oh yeah! And then, I'll show you a few more pictures first. I have the realization I'm in a big city. A big, very international city. They might have Vietnamese egg coffee. So I go hunting for some, but we'll talk about that later. For now, I want to show you what it looked like when I got out of the bathroom. It was getting more crowded. You thought the crowd was bad before? This is still 2 hours before the eclipse, by the way. Look at all the people! Look at all the people! So many. So many. There's just people absolutely everywhere, packing into the park. Some still in line, some out of the line, and it's just crowding. There were so many people. That's when I decided I was going to leave downtown Montreal, because at that point I realized that I'm not gonna fight traffic leaving downtown. There's no hope in hell. If I try to stay in this crowd, and then I have my flight, I didn't have very long, right? So my flight, I needed to catch it. So I couldn't chance that. I had to basically, as soon as I get my glasses, get the fuck out of downtown, go closer to the airport so that I wouldn't have to chase the crowd. I didn't get to see it by the river or the Ferris wheel or have any amazing views because I wasn't downtown with all the pretty sights, but I did get somewhere a lot safer for getting back in time, and I still got to see the total eclipse. I think it was worth it. But yeah, it was exciting. Feeling energy in the air with so many people coming in and like crowding and stuff. They'll all leave at the same time, so traffic's guaranteed. Exactly. Traffic was dead when I left. It's like everyone was already there or coming instead of leaving. So I figured it was the best chance for me to get out. And that's what I did. Let me check. I won't show you my glasses because the reflections in that don't look very safe. Okay, I'm gonna show you some pictures of when I was leaving the park, though. So, yeah, I got to see totalities. It didn't really matter where. This is the park when I was leaving. You can see that's the entrance of the park. Everyone pouring in from downtown. Oh my god. I don't know where all the people coming in think they're gonna fit themselves in this big crowd. Like, I actually don't think a lot of them probably would have been able to find a spot. It was a lot. And that's not the worst of it. That is not even the worst of it. And right now, I'm not actually using full body tracking. I'm sorry to say. I'm just using a webcam for it, which it doesn't really work in VR that well, if that's why you're asking. So yeah, that was absolutely wild. And every direction was kind of the same. Like, I'll show you another direction where you can't really see any better. This is when I turned up like around 90 degrees or so. I did like 4 photos in a circle. So in case you thought maybe there's room on the sides, this is what the crowds on the sides look like. So no, there was no room. There was no room. They did the best they could. I got a video of it actually. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull a video up and show you. This might be a better explanation than just seeing a photo. Hold on. Yeah, this I think gives away the picture a little better. Hold on. Let me show you. You will cry. You will actually fucking cry. I think some people would cry if they were in this crowd, actually. I'm not gonna lie. I was a little overwhelmed. Okay. Let me mute it. Hold on. Yeah, there we go. Okay. I'll play it a couple times so that you can like understand it, because the video is very hard to see. That's the middle of it. So like this is a wide video. Look at all the people. And let's super zoom in on the middle of it so you can tell it's not just like the front. It's like full. It's full. Look. Look. I have to put it up in case chat's blocking it. Look at all the people. Let me pause it around the spot. See, that's all people. It was a lot. I think the video gave a much better understanding of what the crowds really. That's true. I've been to Anime Expo and a lot of other big conventions, so to me, I've seen big lines. I don't think I've seen anything quite like that before, but it was still kind of cool. I also found something that surprised me a lot. I found snow. It's like really dirty, nasty, covered in gravel snow. But there's still snow. There was a Ferris wheel. I would have loved to stand in a view where I could have got that in it, but you know, it is what it is. Yeah, I was very surprised for snow. Let me see. More people looking on the ground than in the sky, of course. This was like hours before the eclipse. Why would they be looking at it that early? I got some pictures of like some nice buildings and stuff. I'm not gonna show a lot of them, but I will show you the crowd I saw walking to downtown. This is not a place where people are standing to watch it. This is the lineup to get downtown. You saw the busy area I showed you where I was leaving, where there's already all those people. This is the crowd coming to join. This is more people. They were waiting to cross the street. This is more people that were waiting to get. The entire block is gridlocked with people. Just waiting to get down to where there's already no room for more people. And by the minute, everywhere I walked, I just kept seeing more and more crowds like that. And keep in mind, this is still, I think it was still either 2 or 2.5 hours before the eclipse. I think it would have been probably more like 2 by this point. So this isn't even including all the people who are trying to join last minute. This is 2 hours from totality. 2 hours! 2 hours! And there's already that many people already there and coming. I was like, I need to fucking run away. I need to get out of here. So I left at that point. I was like trying to find my way out so that I could run away and make sure that I didn't get stuck in that. I think one of the parks nearby, it said like 100,000 people went. That's not the one I was at though. I took a picture of one of the gates because it was very, very pretty. Let me see. Is this one safe to show? I think it's the good type of shiny. You can't really see much of anything. Let me crop it a bit. You do have a thingy jump scare though. You'll have a thingy jump scare. So I've found a place that had Vietnamese coffee, and they had what was called condensed milk coffee, which I was wondering if that might be the egg coffee, because sometimes it goes by that name. So I order it. But I'm looking on my phone. I asked the person to wait because I'm trying to look on my phone to Google Translate the word for takeout into French because I don't know it. And in this restaurant, all of the signs are in French. There's no English on any of the signs that I could see. It was in the menu, but like all of the like sticky notes around the place and like unique signs, they didn't have any English. So I just was like, okay, maybe I should speak French to not be rude in this place. So I'm trying to find the word for takeout because I don't know it. And while I pull my phone up and like kind of signals and I'm like, just a minute, I'm just looking. I hear the staff behind the counter just while I look at my phone. And I'm just like, I start shaking because this guy is probably just like so fucking annoyed at me and I don't know what to do. So I just panic and I drop my phone. Instead of continuing to look, I just ask, I'm like, parlez-tu anglais? It's like, ah! And he just stares at me like I'm an idiot and he's like, yes. And I'm like, I'm sorry. And then I try to order, but I actually don't think he spoke English as well as he said because I tried ordering a hot egg coffee because on the menu, the one I was ordering, there was an option that said cold and there's an option that said hot. So I tried to ask for it hot and he's like, we don't have that hot. We don't make that hot. And I was like, I don't want to argue the fact that it's right on your menu. No, I think what he said is, oh, we only do iced or something like that. And I was like, I'm not going to argue the fact that it's actually on your menu hot. Okay, I'll order iced. Even though I'm not usually an iced coffee person, I never tried iced egg coffee. So I was like, okay, fine, whatever. I'll try it. And I'm polite and I'm being like, oh yeah, okay, ice is good, ice is good, ice is good. And then when they finally give me my coffee, which was supposed to be, let me show you what it's supposed to look like first, actually. Because I think that'll make more sense in terms of what was wrong with it. Let me get a picture of what it was supposed to look like. Eyes. So it's basically like custard on top of it, if you've never seen it before. It's really, really good. I actually don't know if it's made iced, but I'll show you what it looks like hot, at least. Because this is what it's supposed to look like. So I assumed even if it was iced, it should still look mostly the same in terms of like the layers, even though there might be some ice and stuff in it. So it's supposed to look like this. It's supposed to have this like yummy layer of thick custard on top. And I'm excited because I love that stuff. And I hadn't had it in, I think, since September or so, because near the warehouse, it doesn't exist. So I am so excited sitting there waiting for my egg coffee that I'm hoping is the right thing. And then I'll show you what they gave me. It wasn't quite, I don't know if you can tell the difference. That's the same image. Hold on. This is what I ended up getting. I was like, I think this is a normal coffee. That doesn't look like condensed milk egg coffee. Maybe it's like a different type of condensed milk just like swirled in. I don't know. I'm like that's not right. So it was very strong. It was strong. So I just am like, you know what? I will drink it. Whatever. It wasn't what I wanted. I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't egg coffee, but it was really good. I didn't have any regrets getting it in the end because it was still really delicious. My only regret was that I realized at this point, I realized during the eclipse, because I finished it shortly before, that since the time I left the airport and the eclipse, all I drank was a matcha latte and iced coffee. Which, I don't know if you know, but those are both dehydrating beverages. And I was like, why do I feel so disgusting? And why do I have a headache? And I realized it's because I didn't hydrate properly. So then at the airport, I chug all the water I have left before I go through security. But that's okay. Anyway, at this point, I have my coffee. I find an abandoned park, and I'm kind of tempted to stay there and watch it. But the park is just gravel with, like, concrete barriers to block cars. I was going to sit on a concrete barrier, but then I decided, you know, there's a park halfway between here and the airport. Let's at least go to a park. So I leave there after chugging my coffee. I walk through some more places. Hold on, I got some more photos. Let's see. Okay. It's just another like building area that I got some pictures of. BGM, how long has the BGM been off? Oh shit, probably since the video. Thanks for telling me finally, it's been so long, what the fuck? I got another picture when I was walking through Chinatown. I got my coffee somewhere on that street. That's why I thought maybe they might have some. Lucky, I was so lucky. There's like 5 Vietnamese coffee places. This one, just the menu item looked like the best bet to hopefully be what I wanted, even if it wasn't. Okay, the next picture, as I took it, I realized something really bad. And I will, you know. Hello, Play Studios, and you're offline. Okay. So I took another picture when I crossed the street. I don't know if you noticed something about the sky. There's some clouds coming. And me just sitting there knowing I've gone all this distance, only for there to still be almost an hour, and the clouds are coming in. The clouds that are supposed to not exist based on every weather report I saw in the past 12 hours. And I'm like, oh no. And the clouds are in the direction of the sun, by the way. That's where they're coming from. So I'm like, oh no. Anyway, I keep going as usual. I started freaking out and cursing the clouds, but you know, it ended up being okay. I got another picture of the clouds because you can see how bad they are in this one. You can see them creeping. So this is where you can start to see the clouds really creeping in. I keep grabbing the wrong shit. Because if you look at them in this photo, you can see that in the distance they're looking a little more thick and not so good. And if you notice based on the shadows, yes, the clouds are where the sun is. And I was like starting to panic at this point. So I was like, oh my god. Especially me where I'm going closer. That's the direction I was going. I was going closer to the clouds. And I was like, no! So I am like ready to lose it. I'm ready to cry. I'm ready to find out I wasted my whole trip. I am like ready to cry at this point. But luckily, in the actual moment, things cleared up. And I'll try to explain that. So I'll show a picture. I was walking around the park. I kept changing location because I wanted to have like some nice views of it. So I kept kind of moving around. I was also very restless at that point. I didn't want to stand still. So I was kind of walking around different places in the park. I only took one photo though. I regret not getting some from other angles because it looks really cool. So the first photo I tried taking, I put my camera with my eclipse lenses in front of it, but it didn't work. I don't know what happened here, but that doesn't. I was trying to get a picture of the partial. I didn't look at the shadows. I wasn't thinking. I really should have. I regret not looking at them now. But yeah, I tried to get a picture. I got to see them through the glasses, which was really cool. But you wouldn't be able to see them with the camera. Yeah, just a casual meteor, no big deal. It tried. Looks like the lens was dirty. I think it might have also been a bit dirty, but that's not the only reason. I do drop my phone a lot. I'm looking at it now. Oh, yeah, there's a fingerprint on one of them. It's still cool to have, but I've been mainly looking at other people's photos because mine just, you know. The other thing is I have a newer iPhone that has a night mode that lightens the sky a lot and makes it really easy to take photos at night. So my photo of the eclipse is not going to be as dark as most people's. It doesn't do justice. It doesn't look exciting at all from my photo, but I swear it was really cool. I think, every single person who witnessed totality will probably agree with me in this regard. The experience can't be defined by photos or by videos. It's very, very different in person. Like it's completely different. Looking at it like for real versus photos, none of the photos really do it justice. Yeah, in person, my background is a little closer to what it looks like. I got this one as well, which was during, but as I said, my camera lightens up a lot. You can kinda, if you zoom in, see like, you know, the shadow and the ball around it, but it's very bad quality. It's just a phone camera. In person, it looked very much more like my background. But yeah. It was still cool though. You watch in your backyard. I can imagine it being especially nuts to watch in person in a backyard. I think the most ideal places to watch an eclipse, having seen one, if any of you guys are planning for future ones, number one, if you can see the, don't settle for partial if you have the option. If you don't, partial is still really cool. But if you do have the option, total is very different. Like if it's within a reasonable distance for you and you can afford it, I definitely recommend the total. It's completely different. The difference is literally night and day. Like it just feels like it got cloudy or something in the other one. Yeah, 99.3% still doesn't get that dark. That's not quite totality. Anything below 100, you don't have the full experience. The sky still gets a bit darker, but it's not the same. I want to talk a bit about the experience because first of all, when it started happening, there's this group I keep walking by and they kept blasting rap, and every time I would like walk somewhere else to get away from them. And then they'd end up coming somewhere near me and I'm like, fuck off! Don't blast like I don't know, final boss music or like sad music. Anything that actually suits the mood, please. I don't want to hear constant like, I don't know. I don't want to hear really fast, really loud things. It doesn't vibe right for the feeling. So I was getting really upset, and then I put my earbuds on really loud. I didn't want to hear them anymore. It did get cold though. For me, it got extremely cold. Apparently it said 5 degrees, but it felt like much more. I was wearing a number of layers. I actually ended up adding multiple layers in my backpack, and I was still freezing. I was shivering so hard my teeth were chattering. So I think the city overall might have gone 5 degrees, but wherever I was, I think somehow got a bit colder. Because everyone seemed really cold. Or could have just been maybe 5 degrees all of a sudden is too much. I don't know. I kind of felt more like going through the freezer aisle in a store. So essentially, about half an hour before, it was kind of, I don't know how to word it. This is the part of the eclipse you can't experience through any photos or videos. Hold on, I wanna loop Shadow Lord while I talk about the actual because that's what I listened to during it. I can recreate the experience better. Okay, maybe ignite the memories to make it easier to explain. Okay, so essentially, all of a sudden you could just start to tell that everything feels and sounds and looks wrong. You can't quite place it. Like genuinely, you don't, even if you know in theory, oh yeah, this is an eclipse, you don't quite know what's off. It's like the sky is a slightly wrong shade, but barely. Not like shadows you're used to. Like the saturation or something is what's messed up. And then, when I was thinking CJ for the super fam kids always thank you. You can tell something's off. And then you notice the air feels weird. Like I think it was a very still day. It had been very hot with no wind for me. And all of a sudden, it just started like, yeah, that's a good way to put it, Brandon said. It just felt like all the color was drained from the world. It was so weird. And then it started, not hurricane strength gusting, but like there was pretty strong wind. It knocked over something that was on my lap. And there had been no wind that I recall all day. It had been so hot and still. It's just like a wind picked up. You could see leaves and stuff on the ground blowing around. Like it wasn't still. And I think actually before this happened, it kind of started getting a little quiet. It's like everything instinctively knew something was up. And this isn't right before, by the way. This is like still 20 minutes before things start to slowly shift and get weird. Before the wind picked up, I noticed it felt really quiet. Like, I don't necessarily mean people, although that's probably part of it. Like, ambient noises, I don't know, like the birds and everything, just the noises like stopped. And that's when it started getting pretty cold, and when the wind started coming in. It was very shortly after it got really quiet. The color change was the first thing I noticed, though. Like, the colors felt funny. But then, you notice there's also a lack of sound. And that's why it's so jarring when, after it being quiet and dull, the wind starts picking up again. And, well, not again, because there's no wind before. The wind starts picking up and the leaves are blowing around. And I looked up with my glasses, and it was a very small sliver at that point. I was watching it while the sliver disappeared into nothing. It was pretty cool. With the glasses, you actually had to take them off, because at totality, it's so dull you can't see them with the glasses. But it was pretty cool. I'm just like, whoa. And I can see why back in the day people may have thought it was like the end of the world, just because all those changes happening so suddenly is really jarring. I know other people have also said reports of like as soon as it happened, all the birds flew away, or all of the other animals like dogs or cows would sit down or lie down. It's like so weird. It's so weird. I don't know how to put it into words. It's just literally so weird. That's the only way I can describe it. And that's even more cool than the visuals to me. It's like just the feeling of everything being completely, like, it's reality, but none of it feels like reality. It feels so detached and weird. Which is why I'm really happy I had this song playing, because I thought it fit it really well. So yeah, it was interesting. And then you look up, and I can say the photos of totality are pretty accurate. It's just the sun is completely black. It's like gone. It's like there's a hole in the sky with this halo around it that looks really majestic but terrifying at the same time. And if I didn't know what it was, I'm not gonna lie, I'd probably look up and be like, oh, we're fucked. But luckily, I just really went there for it, so I knew what it was. And I didn't get a lot of totality. I think it was only a little over a minute where I was able to go to. So I only looked at it for a couple seconds, unfortunately, because I didn't want to hurt my eyes if I got the timing wrong. So then eventually I put my other glasses back on and look up again when it's partial, but a number of roosters in your neighborhood thought it was dawning again. Nice! Yeah, I can't. It would be the orange outside of the white. I don't think I could see the solar flares. No, unfortunately. It might have been because I had sun-tinted glasses under my eclipse glasses. I don't know. Was I supposed to? I could only see the white part. I didn't get to see a lot of stars, though, unfortunately. Because there were a lot of bright city lights where I was. So it wasn't... That's why, if I recommend anyone seeing the eclipse, I have 2 recommendations if it comes near you. My number 1 recommendation is, if you can, watch it from home. Legitimately. 1, you won't have to fight traffic. 2, if you go outside, right outside your own home, that sense of something being so off from a place that's very familiar to you, just getting to see the familiar transform into so unfamiliar, I think it would be really cool. If it's a place you're more familiar with. Where it's a place that I wasn't familiar with, it didn't quite feel as unnerving in that regard. Whereas I think I would have felt more unsettled if it had been somewhere that I'm used to seeing every day. Would have felt more like something was wrong. How you believe? Yeah, local park or something would be really nice too. I also would recommend, if you do want to travel, find somewhere to go camping. Make sure it's somewhere where there's not too many trees at the right hour so that you can see the sun. But I think seeing it outside of all the bright lights would have been really nice, because a lot of the lights did kind of make the sky seem brighter in general. I think it would have been cooler maybe if I would have been, just not with so many lights. I think I was standing under a light possibly, which was my bad. I should have gone somewhere a bit darker, but yeah. If you can go somewhere less populated even, or like like a random road. But you can't stop at the side of the road. That's really dangerous. Kind of like if there's like, I don't know, a road with a round thingy at the end or something. But it was pretty cool. I have a picture of it as well that I took that I can show you now that I'm back. Hold on. Okay. I got a picture during it. You can see how close I was to the edge of totality here. At least I think. I don't know if it's different depending if you're close or not. But in my photo, you can see both day and night in the sky at the same time, which is kind of unique. I don't see a lot of photos like that. Like, it's not just an edge of the horizon. A lot of it is the horizon. And I thought that was really cool. So this is what I got to see when it first happened. That was my empty park. Compared to the crowd earlier, what do you think about this place? What do you think about this crowd? Did I choose right, employees? See, all the building lights kind of ruined it a bit. But look at all these people. I think I had a much better time than anyone downtown. But I also, I really like this. I think it's like a plane or something that I got on the side. It just looks like a falling star. I don't know. Does anyone know what this planet is? I don't think it's a star because the sky was too light here for me to see stars. But I'm wondering if, like, where is it? That dot. I wonder if that dot was a planet. And then I got the eclipse in it. But yeah, it was really cool how in my shot the sky is like almost half and half, dark and horizon. I felt like it was a really cool composition. Maybe Jupiter or Venus? I thought it might be Venus, but I wasn't sure. So that's okay. Maybe I was right. Yeah. That's the picture I managed to get during it. It was a really cool view in person. It did feel pretty surreal. I don't think it was a shooting star. I think it was an airplane. But it looks like a shooting star. So I like to pretend it was. So I managed to get an airplane driving by and the eclipse and Venus in a photo. I'm really happy. I'm really happy. That I managed to get at least one that turned out really nice. Lots of planes saw it from the air. Yeah, that would have been cool if I managed to catch one like that. But, I don't know. There's always delays with flights and stuff too, so I feel like that would be even worse if you miss it. Hello, Magnificent! We could put in airplanes in the air shooting stars. Why not? No one can prove. Well, I guess they can prove it. I also just got a picture of the airport because I like getting pictures of weird angles. You're welcome. It's the airport. That's all I took for photos. I didn't take too many. I wanted to just experience the day more than anything. I didn't want to be glued behind my camera. Well, yeah. I also had a bit of a scare afterwards. Oh my god. Oh my god. Can I tell you what happened afterwards? I put my eclipse glasses back on to look at it again, and I noticed something really bad when I took them away. I noticed when I took them away and tried to look at something normal, my vision in one eye was blurry. Da 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 da! Specifically my left eye, there was a big blurry circle exactly in the middle of my vision, and I was like, oh no. But I got the Science Center glasses! There's no way! Remember when I said I was wearing another pair of glasses? Because I have glasses that are slightly tinted because I'm really sensitive to the sun? There was a fingerprint on them. Me about to start crying that I fucked up my eyes, but actually there's just a fingerprint on my glass. And when I realized, I'm just like, oh. and then I wipe it off and I'm okay. It scared me so much though. But yeah, luckily I looked out and my glasses were safe and it was fine. Yeah, when I finally get back to the airport though, there's no traffic. I made the perfect call with where I was going. There was no cars on the road almost the whole time. Because I think everyone was still downtown, but I was like 20 minutes out of the way. So, being 20 minutes ahead of traffic, one bus came a few minutes after because it had already been on the way. I got on the bus, and I made it to the airport, I think, really, really early with tons of time to spare. But guess what I did? I went to the wrong section of the airport. I got really distracted because there's a group of like 5 or 6 people walking through the airport. Like, I saw them a number of times, and they just had like suits and top hats. And I was like, oh my god, top hats. Because I love noticing things like that. So I just was so excited that I saw top hats IRL that I forgot to look at the signs properly, I think. I ended up in the wrong section. It ended up still connecting, but I had to walk a really far distance. And I barely made it through security in time. I think I made it through security 5 minutes or so before departure. So I had to skip supper, but luckily they gave me another cookie. No, they gave me banana bread that time. A huge banana bread, so I was fine. But it was scary. I thought it was toast for a minute. Keep in mind, remember what I said? I didn't have an accommodation. I needed to get in and out on the same day. I had nowhere to stay. I didn't know anyone who lives there. All the hotels are probably booked for the eclipse, even more so because it's one of the only places that had sun. So apparently a lot of people last minute from nearby that weren't going to travel were flocking in for day trips. I think one of the parks, it said literally, as I said, had over 100,000 people. Like, it was wild. And I needed to look into getting back. So, I made it, luckily. You didn't have a working phone charger? Yeah. I got back, though. It was fine. My phone was at below 10%, and I was scared it was going to die, and I wouldn't be able to show them my boarding pass. Oh, wait! Speaking of my boarding pass, my boarding pass is scanned as invalid. And I held up the entire line because I had to insist my ticket was real and you needed to let me on this plane. Eventually I convinced them to look my name up in the system and I showed them my ID and they saw that I was supposed to be on the flight, so they printed me a new boarding pass. But that was so scary. I got a bit dizzy after too, but I think for me, I just get dizzy easily, so I didn't think much of it. It could have also just been because it was so overwhelming a bit. Yeah, I got on and ended up being okay. You know what the airport had? I didn't have time to really use it much, but there was an arcade. There was a small arcade at the airport. Had like Pac-Man and some stuff. And I saw a purikura machine, like one of the photo booths. I actually was going to go and take a photo there while I wait because they took credit card. So I put in my credit card. It wouldn't work. And then I got a text message saying my credit card was locked for suspicious activity. But it was the only card I brought with me that day. So I literally could not buy any more food or anything. I really had to get back at that point because if I didn't, I couldn't even have food. And luckily I got back and it was okay. I was fine. And yeah, I was surprised to see purikura and like an arcade at an airport. If I ever go back, I want to try to make more time to find the arcade and play in it. I love arcades. Yeah, I think by the time I got back to the warehouse, by the time I managed to get transportation back to the warehouse, my phone was at 4%. By the time I got in the door, my phone was fucking dead. I listened to it for part of the trip, and then it was toast. I did the best I could. But I made it! I mean, you guys heard how many gambles I made with this trip, and how many things could have gone very badly wrong. So I'm just saying. I'm just saying, I think it was pretty successful, and maybe my luck's been building up for a while to make so much go right, considering how bad it would have been if anything went wrong. But yeah, it was pretty cool. I think even more... Oh, wait. I gotta tell you one more thing that happened on my return flight, because it was really funny. Someone was watching stand-up comedians on speaker without knowing it was on speaker. But none of us on the plane were angry. We just kind of kept looking at each other like, do you think they know? Do you think they know? It's like, none of us told them. we just let them suffer, and then eventually the sound stopped all of a sudden. I think they realized at one point. Yeah, it wasn't just me that day. I felt a little better when I witnessed someone else having the same thing happen. At least as comedians, it was very political comedy, though. I don't think some people on the plane would have been very happy. Like, no matter what side it is, if you're making fun of political stuff on speakers in a public space, there's gonna be people who are very mad. But luckily, everyone on the flight kept it civil and no one said anything, so it was okay. But yeah, it was pretty cool. I think more than even just like, see, I'm not gonna lie, I'm really happy that I had the once in a lifetime opportunity getting to see the eclipse. I'm really, really grateful for it. But I think, even more than needing, to see the eclipse, because I don't really need to see the eclipse. Like, it's really cool, and I've wanted to since I was a kid, but I feel like, I've said kind of this a number of times on the stream. I've been really at a low point for like mental health for a bit. It's just not cooperating. And I've been really struggling. Like, not quite bed rotting, but I've been like very slowly declining for a while, and for my past few days off, I usually will try to, like, if I don't go out and see friends, I'll try to at least do some chores or go do something fun or treat myself. I've been like pretty much bed rotting, except at least getting up to a chair because I don't want food in my bed. And just like binging anime all day and like melting into my chair. Like literally, like I'll sit there normal, and by the end of it, I'm like on my back on the chair. I've just fallen so low. I've just been like such a disaster, and I haven't been able to pull myself out of that. I think I have a lot of stressful stuff right now, and I think more than anything, I just couldn't keep going on like that. And even when I try to take a break, because there's so much going on, I'm sure you guys know what I mean by this. Sometimes, if you can't turn your brain off, you're not getting properly rested. If you can't turn your brain off, then your brain is still going a mile a minute in like negative spirals, and you're feeling more tired, and just you can't do anything. I was at the point where like no amount of rest was going to help. I was oversleeping. I didn't need rest. I didn't know what I needed, but it wasn't rest. And it had been slowly going for weeks. Like there's nothing I can do to pull myself out of it. I've tried everything. So I figured maybe like just forcing myself to take a trip by myself. I think a part of it is a lot of stuff has been going on like outside of my control. And just don't take this for any speculation, because almost all of this is like IRL. Everyone's always gonna have work stress, no matter what job or how much they love it. But a lot of it is like family stuff right now, because there's, as I said, there's been a lot of illness and stuff. So I was getting to the point where like nothing was helping. I just felt more tired no matter what I did, stuck in my head. And I kind of just needed a day to run away from like in the entirety of existing. I just wanted something to focus on that would take me somewhere different. And I don't think it's like a magic fix. Like I'm still struggling, and it's still hard to get out of that space. But it's I definitely felt a lot more refreshed yesterday, and I need to make a much better effort. I've been making a really good effort to exercise and rest, but I haven't been making a good enough effort to leave the warehouse. And I need to make more time to get out, I think. Because I don't want to end up back in that cycle or in that state. It's really not fun. It's like that, do you know what I mean by like, you start falling behind in everything because you can't bring yourself to do anything because everything feels like it takes 10 times as long and it's 10 times harder and you just feel more tired the more you try to pull yourself out of it. Well, unfortunately now that I just I give up and ran away for a day, now I've got to come back to reality because the one downside is about that type of self-care. You know, you don't just abandon everything. You still have to deal with it. Sometimes you just can't do it on the day and you need to walk away. But you still have to kind of get into better habits. It's not going to come from nowhere. Like, I really hate when people are like, you know what gets rid of anxiety or depression? Don't be sad. Don't be nervous. It's like, wow, I never thought of that once in my life. Thank you for this magical fucking advice. It doesn't help. It's like, you know that. You don't want to be depressed or anxious. You can't just flip a switch and magic, it's gone. And sometimes you're already eating healthy, you're already sleeping, you're already exercising. And then people are like, oh, it's because you're too stressed. It's like, oh, gee, I never would have guessed. Holy moly. You can't just turn off stress. And if it's at the point where your usual coping stuff isn't working and you have the option, sometimes just taking a day to do something batshit for yourself, it doesn't have to be like that. It can even just be like, go for a walk all day, walk around your entire city. I don't know. It's like, just sometimes you have to do something. And it's not as easy as just do it. That's the problem, though. So if you can't do what you have to, sometimes you just have to get yourself to do something. Anything to get you out of the slump of just zoning out. Even if it's not what you need to do. And sometimes it doesn't help, and that's okay, but sometimes it does. For me, it very often does. But the problem is getting started to do something in the first place. And now I have to crawl out of my hole of everything that I ignored and abandoned and need to catch up on. But, so the fight ain't over. It's not a magic fix or anything. But at the end of the day, the only person that can help you is yourself, which really sucks. So sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do to bring yourself up to the point where you can help yourself. I think that's I just want to say one thing real quick. I think that's a very common misconception online in the modern age of what self-care is. Self-care shouldn't be like retail shopping or taking a day to do nothing or binge movies. Sometimes that can be part of it, but at the end of the day, self-care isn't running away from your problems. At the end of the day, self-care can be hard. It's not always rainbows. It can be forcing yourself to do what you don't want to do but know you need to do. That is also self-care. But equally, if you know you absolutely can't do something, self-care can also be walking away, but it's always temporary because you can't run away from stuff forever. And I think that's a really important part of it that, you know, the internet culture doesn't like to talk about because so many influencers are just like, do self-care! And then it's like, here's the thing that costs $1 million to make yourself comfy and pretty. And I'm like, bruh. That's not enough people talk about the ugly parts of self-care. You can't use your health as an excuse to do nothing. Sometimes you have to, temporarily. You have to if you can't do anything. But if you actually can't do anything, you probably need to get some help. If there's any way possible. I know people have checked themselves into hospitals when they needed help because they had to. That's not an option for everyone because it can be expensive in some places, but like sometimes it can be walking away, but you still have to do the hard thing later. If you can't do it, finding someone who can do it for you if possible is still something. But like, yeah, sometimes it's building your own milestones and just not holding yourself to such a tall standard that feels impossible. Anyway, rant over, I'm sorry. I just, every time I think about self-care, I think of all the things I've had to struggle, and it's like, what always helps me the most is walking away for a bit and then forcing myself to go hard, tackling what I need. But I just feel bad for people who never come back to do what they need. I'm like, how do you live like this? You just get worse. I will admit, with taxes, though, my strategy's been really similar to that. I just can't. But that's why I know I still have to one day. It won't be fixed until I do. Also, Bongla, thank you so much for the 10 gifted. I really appreciate it. And thank you as well for enabling, and make sure to thank Bongla, Zan, Life Up, Bleach, Derek, Eve, and Tiffania, J Smile, Tankmeister, Bleakhorn, and Blue Spirit. Yeah, anyway, rant aside. I just had to rant about that a bit. I love this tea. Anyway, I think that was it. I'm not sure if I'll be as active on social media this week while I try to crawl out of my hole, though, I'm sorry to say. It's not good. It's not good. The depresso has been really winning, and it's just been really empty, so doing anything has been a disaster. And the number of tasks that I have overdue or I failed to complete and have deadlines soon is very, very high. In fact, so high I look at it and wish for death, but I can't. I have to do my shit. So, I'll be doing my best to tackle it. I'll still be on. I don't think I'm going to be able to keep up. I might give myself like one check a day. Like I can check Discord and I can check Twitter like when I wake up or something, but then not again, or I don't know. I'll probably have very specific times I check it, but I won't be on as often. I'm trying to force myself to get stuff done before I look at anything. Because I've fallen into very like doom scrolling state from the depresso winning, where like I'll just sit for an hour and scroll aimlessly, not even knowing what I'm looking at, just kind of like zoning out. And I realize the amount of days where I do that is like every day, so I need to pull myself out of that a bit as well. It's not causing the depresso, it's like a symptom of it, but I have to force myself not to because it's a very big waste of time. But yeah, I can't do X until I do Y and just end up not doing X and Y. That's just so me. I am a little worried about that happening, but luckily that's why I'm compromising a bit, and I might still check like once a day or something. Usually that strategy works when I'm not super depresso, but that strategy's been failing lately. But yeah, I'm doing my best to crawl out of it, and I think the trip really did help kind of reset my brain, if that makes sense. I feel like I have kind of like a fresh slab to start on, if that makes any sense. more like it'll be a bit easier to do the hard stuff. Still hard, but like a bit easier. Now that I've had a day to just not even think about any of it, so I can refresh my energy a bit. Every night just one more, and then suddenly the sun is rising again. I started actually banning myself from social media after my workout. I will go and do Miku boxing to end my day, and then I'm not allowed looking at any feeds again until the next day. And I find that helps a lot. The nights I break it, I tend to stay up much later. But yeah, I think I'm probably gonna wrap up so that I can read Final Fantasy, and we'll be ready for ending Heavensward today. I'm literally at the end of it. We're about to finish Heavensward. I'm so excited. But I wanted to talk to you guys a bit first and talk about my trip, because it felt kind of like, I don't know, it felt like too unique of an experience to wait. I hope you like the random VR chat background I found for it seemed like the type of thing you guys would probably want to hear about. Just where so many weird things happen. It's also kind of a way for me to preserve it with my bad memory. I can go watch the VOD and be like, oh yeah, I remember. Well, I don't know. I'm still not traveling nearly as much as I used to, so luckily I won't travel too much more, but hopefully if and when I do get more traveling done, we can have more travel zatsus, because I know last year, I think even if I had really bad volume and bad quality and bad internet, I think my travel zatsus were most of your favorite streams. A lot of people really liked the travel chaos chatting streams where I basically just freaked out about everything that went wrong on my trip, which is what I did today, and for some reason you guys love that shit. We haven't unfortunately had any because I haven't traveled in quite a long time. But maybe if I have to do more traveling, maybe they should make a return. I don't know. Would you guys want more travel zatsus? What do you guys prefer for the travel zatsus? Do you prefer like a normal layout, or do you guys prefer the shorts stream? I find the shorts kind of works really well for just chatting, but I do really like the look of like the wide ones better. I'm not sure if the shorts buff is still a thing, so I might end up leaning more towards the regular wide ones in the future. Or if the shorts went well and you guys like that, maybe I can lean into doing just chatting with shorts unless I want to show a lot of stuff off. I don't know. I don't like watching stuff on my phone, so for me it just looks like so much wasted screen space. But yeah, I feel like showing the photos would be easier on normal, yeah. Maybe if I don't have photos, shorts is good though. Oh no. Hello, Cheeseburger, it's been a while. That is true though. Shorts is really good to get YouTube to help promote you. And it is also a thing where people who only watch on phones might not like regular streams as much. So I think they're still like a good type of stream to do. I don't prefer them as a viewer. So it's hard for me to tell what you guys prefer as a viewer, because I don't have a preference as a streamer. But as a viewer, I definitely have a preference. I don't like short streams. Shorts buff works if you don't check the notify subscribers thing. That's not necessarily true. The one time I tried not pressing that, I had a short that got only 7 views. Literally. 7. I saw the 7 and I never tried that again. I'm taking a little bit of a break from uploading videos and shorts anyway, while I try to work on a new type of them, so hopefully you'll get to see some coming out soon. But let me see. I'm gonna look at finding someone to raid on Twitch in a bit, and then I'll raid my waiting room on the YouTube side, because I'll be back in an hour to finish Heavensward. I think I want to wrap up this stream though, because I don't want to wear out my voice too much. I didn't take any breaks this stream. Let me pause. Oh wait, we're not on Twitch. We're only gonna raid my waiting room. Oh my god. You know, then let me just get that set up. We don't need an ending screen. I'm only raiding me. This is so easy. God damn it. The scuff never ends, huh? Alright. I'm raiding the Heavensward stream! If it doesn't relocate, make sure to hit the subscribe button and check out my channel if you want to watch. I'm doing a gaming stream in a bit. We're playing the end of Final Fantasy XIV Heavensward. It's going to be very, very exciting. Alright, I sent out my rage. Bye, get out! I'm tempted to click end right there. Now, thank you guys for watching. Bye-bye.